Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. We have got a phenomenal show lined up for you tonight. I cannot wait to bring on our special guest expert who is going to be just crushing it for us. He's got incredible value. He's a giver. He loves to give back in his community. He's been through hardships, as many of us have. And I love his story and how he got to where he is today. And I can't wait to share him with you in just a moment. But right now, the Mind Body Business Show, what is that all about? Well, in my now 55 years on this planet, I spent about the last 10 studying just successful people. And I wanted to find out, what is it that made them different than me? How did they achieve the super high levels of success that they have achieved? And, what did they do that was different than what I was doing? And I started really digging in deep. I interviewed many of them. I read many of their books, and that some were living, some were not anymore, that I was studying. And these 3 things kept bubbling up to the top time and time again. And they're what I call now the 3 patterns to success. And you might have guessed what those are. They're in the title of this very show. So mind being that of mindset, a very powerful, flexible mindset. And that's what all successful people have is, number one, it's very positive most of the time. We're all human, so we can't be positive all the time, but we can be aware of our attitude shift and quickly write that shift into a better attitude. And it's about being flexible. And having that, you have to be flexible to be a successful entrepreneur, business person, period. And that is one thing I learned. That was one of the key traits. And then there's body. That is literally about taking care of one's body. What are you putting into it? What are you ingesting, liquids and food? And exercise on the outside. What are you doing physically? Are you moving each and every day? Are you putting in some good exercise each and every day? And this was also a trait of highly successful people. And then business. Now, business, I smile because that is multifaceted. I mean, we're talking about marketing, sales, team building, strategizing, systematizing, scaling, leadership. And the list goes on and on and on. And there are many, many, many skill sets that one must master to become successful and continue to grow one's company. And the good news is that you don't have to master every single one of those, thankfully, because I don't think there's enough time in anyone's lifetime to master every skill set involved. And that is why the skill set of leadership is, in my humble opinion, one of the most, if not the most important skill set you can learn as a business owner. Because once you have that, now you can scale your business, bring on help, and bring on those people who have mastered the skill sets that you have not yet gotten around to doing. And so that is what this show is about. I am here to share with you these beautiful brains and beautiful people like Michael G. Dash, who's coming on in just a moment, to give you an idea of what it takes to become successful. Because really, when it comes down to it, all you have to do is model success. Model what they do. Model is a fancy word for copy. You have our permission to copy. You must copy. It's your responsibility to copy successful people, or it will be a long haul for you. And so I look forward to bringing him on. And real quick, right before that, another phenomenal trait of very successful people is, to a person, they are very voracious and avid readers of books. And with that, I'd like to segue very briefly over to a little segment I like to affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com to my side. Now, a real quick note before we continue is please keep your attention on the screen that you're watching, whether it be your phone or your computer or laptop or tablet, and resist the temptation of going to another tab and checking out resources that you're going to learn about on this show. You're going to learn about several. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com is one. Rather than run off and take a look at that, do yourself a favor and instead write it down in whatever form that works for you, maybe on Notepad, on a computer, but write it down and resist the temptation to go visit it yet and wait till after the show. And the reason for that is the magic happens in the room. And yes, it's a virtual room. I would hate for you to have taken your attention elsewhere and missed a golden nugget that Michael will bring up, many of them, I'm sure, tonight. And that could be that one golden nugget that takes you to the next level that you've been waiting for. And I bring that up because I've seen this happen in live seminar situations where I will be standing on stage talking to the students, and I'll see someone get up and walk out, and I know the best part is coming, that they're going to get the most out of it at that moment. So this is just a suggestion, a recommendation. Hang with us, take really good notes, and then go check all this great stuff out after the show is over. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com. I literally put this together with you in mind, the entrepreneur, the business person looking to take it to the next level, looking to advance, no matter where you are today, whether you're you're just starting and you're a solopreneur, whether you're a seasoned veteran and you're just looking for that next lift. Well, this is a great resource for you. There are about 40 books in here. I personally read them all. And I thought, you know what great way to just give back by giving a collection of books that have been personally vetted by someone successful, so that you don't spend all that extra time hunting and searching, maybe buying a book and sitting down and reading an hour of it, realizing this isn't doing anything for you. I can't guarantee these will all do something for you. All I can say is they all have done something for me. And so at least your odds of success in finding the book that fits for you are increased as a result. So check that out after the show's over. If you haven't started reading voraciously and consistently, then when would now be a great time to start? That was me about a year ago. I didn't read hardly anything, actually a little more than a year ago. And I started reading voraciously. And as you can see, I've read quite a few books in a short period of time, and it truly is a life changer. And everything everyone says about them is absolutely the truth. So do yourself a favor, pick up a book. Oh, by the way, that's not a money-making website. Those all go to Audible. Actually, I may make a few pennies, but it's not for the purpose of making money at all. It's there for you as a resource. So I hope you enjoy that and take advantage of that. And speaking of enjoyment, you know what time it is? It is time. Let's bring on the man of the hour, shall we? Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Michael G. Dash. How are you doing this evening, my friend, my buddy, my pal?
I am amazing, Mr. Kelly. Thank you for having me on. I love the intro and everything you got going on.
And I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy day. Just learned right before we got on the show. And so we've just met literally half an hour ago, and he's already my best friend because, you know, he lives in Venice Beach, California. Who cannot be a friend from Venice Beach, California? Come on now. That's phenomenal. Sure. Absolutely. Love the beach. Love it a ton. And before we get jumping too deep into this, Michael, I'd like to quickly remind everyone that's watching live, you must be watching live, to stay to the end, because at the end, I'm going to reveal a way you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, all compliments of our wonderful sponsors. You see them on the upper left there if you're watching on the screen, way up there. It's the Big Insider Secrets, and you can find them at thebiginsidersecrets.com. We give away a show each and every, we give away a trip each and every show. And that is a vacation stay where all of your hotel expenses are taken care of. You just pay the taxes you normally would have paid if you paid in full. So it's next to nothing, and it's a phenomenal trip. With that, I want to bring this man on formally and give him the respect that he deserves. So Michael G. Dash is an entrepreneur, best-selling author of Chasing the High, a recovering addict, speaker, and philanthropist. He founded the FATE series, and that stands for From Addict to Entrepreneur, published on Thrive Global and Medium, and runs a 12-week mentoring program where he helps entrepreneurs and business leaders go from running their million-dollar businesses in isolation and chaos to leading their businesses and lives from a place of connection, allowing them to step into the true leader they were meant to be while increasing profits. Everyone likes that part, I'm sure. He is the co-founder of Activated.life. That is a website, Activated.life, a social movement focused on inspiring a culture of positivity, authenticity, passion, empathy, and resilience while giving back to others. I love that. Michael is an avid volunteer, fundraiser, and mentor, and is dedicated to bringing positive change to leaders of all kind. And with that, officially and formally, I welcome the Michael Dash to the stage. How are you doing, my brother?
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so. I mean, your research team really is top notch.
I love it. Yes.
I just want to know, am I able to enter the free sweepstakes for the trip?
It's so funny. I will tell you, this is the absolute truth because we're on video. For those that you are listening on a podcast, this is a live video originally. And when I get to that point and I bring it up on screen, I can still see the guest and they're tapping away at their phone, entering because I see their entries come in. Yes, it's absolutely fine. It's a random drawing. Everyone is eligible, including you, sir. Yes.
Nice.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So one of the things, and by the way, incredible accolades. I love that bio, the introduction. That tells a lot about a person, especially on the physical level, right? The outer shell level, I guess. But what I like to do, Michael, is kind of dive deep and peel away the onion and find out what is going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours that has made you so successful, that has gotten you past hardships. What is it about you that makes you so successful when it comes to your mindset? So like in the morning, you get up. Being an entrepreneur, we all know, is super simple. Every day, there's no setbacks or challenges ever. I'm being totally sarcastic.
Never.
And, some days you wake up knowing you have to tackle, or you get to tackle something that might not be so pleasant. But when you get up in the morning, each and every day, and you come to, you're aware, the day's in front of you. What is it that drives you? What's that motivates you? What are the things going on in that beautiful brain of yours that says, whatever it is, I've got this and I'm going to plow ahead and succeed no matter what?
It's simple for me. I mean, it's making a difference. I mean, people say impact. I could throw words around, but words are words, right? But it's really about making a difference. So it's like influencing an entrepreneur and their decision-making abilities. It's impacting, like with the volunteer work that I do. I do a lot in the prison system. So like allowing inmates who might not have visitors in 10 years to know that there are people out there who care about them, and providing them empathy and having an impact when I leave that prison, that I put a smile on somebody's face, or that after I'm working with an entrepreneur that, wow, they're looking at that decision without the emotions that they had tied into that decision before we spoke. Because I was one of those people who, for the majority of my life, made emotional decision after emotional decision. And I came to learn that those are the worst type of decisions you could ever make in relationships, in family, with food, with working out, with business. The worst kind of decisions are the emotional ones. So really that's what drives me. I really want to make an impact and influence others in a positive manner. Because I've always wanted to influence people, but I used to do it in a negative manner. Gotcha. And now I want to do it in a positive manner.
And isn't it amazing to be able to get up every morning and love what you do, and to have that kind of thing to look forward to, that you're there to make a difference in people's lives. And that's so important, in my humble opinion, on, becoming successful. If you don't like what you do and you get up and do it every day, I don't believe you're going to grow as fast nor as furiously as one can if the passion and the love for what you do isn't there. What's your take on that, Michael?
Well, it's why I got out of the business that I was in and built for 12 years, because I completely fell out of love with it. And I realized I never was in love with it. I was in love with the money. I was always, chasing the high. Like that's why I named my book that. But I was always chasing the high. That was my life. And for a while, it was money. Money, like, just drove me to the nth degree. And I just wanted more of it. And that's what drove me. And later on, in the business, it caught up to me because I was no longer in love with the business.
And that's interesting because it's when people are first starting out, it's often money that does the driving, isn't it? Because especially in the beginning, because, everyone starts out, there is more of a scarcity mindset because you need the money to continue to stay alive in your business. And then you also need more to scale and expand. And in the beginning, that seems to be more of a focus. But as you progress and you become more successful, the cool thing is people quickly start changing their mindset because the real reason they got into doing this was to serve others and to help others. And, the people that I know and the people that have been on this show, they're all built from that cloth of serving and helping. And I know you are, after talking to you very briefly right before the show, doing some research. We did do some research. And I love the fact that you're such, you give back. And to that end, what are you up to? I mean, what is it that fills your days and what kind of different projects are you working on right now?
I'm glad you asked. At every day, one of the things that I'm fortunate about is that every day is different for me. So there's not a lot of monotony. I am an executive coach. So I have several clients who are entrepreneurs who I coach in their daily businesses, focusing from a top-down approach, looking at everything from their org charts and making sure they have the right people in place to building out their sales teams. But lately, with COVID happening, I'm not sure if you heard, there's this little virus going around. And I go where I can serve. And I'll explain that. So, a friend of mine in New York has a large nurse staffing company. So once this hit, he all of a sudden had 4,000 openings. So I jumped on board to help him out and help him staff some of the nurses and doctors back east in New York and New Jersey. And then we did with Activated.life, we started a GoFundMe. And we've raised over $25,000 and donated over 2,000 meals and PPE equipment to the nurses and first line responders, again, in the New York, New Jersey area, because that's where I'm from. Those are my roots. So I, immediately shifted to create some impact there. And then, there's a lot of webinars online now. A lot of normal conferences that would be taking in place have shifted to online. Zoom rooms are the new thing. So I've been trying to contribute and give back through those rooms on my time, of course, but I developed an alignment assessment, which allows individuals in any aspect of their life. This could be for the CEO, or this could be for somebody who just got laid off and has no job. But it allows them to track their activities over a 24-hour period of time and measure how aligned those activities actually are with what they are trying to accomplish in their life and their goals and their missions, and then shift their behavior pattern so that they are increasing their alignment score and that they're focusing on things that are going to move the needle in their life. And I know from experience, I used to, and sometimes I still do. I created this test as much for me as for anybody else, but these are the things that worked for me to put the habits in place that you need to be successful. So that's what I've been up to.
And a little bird told me that there might be a gift of how to get that in your little hands and get your own self assessed to see how you're doing. Maybe toward the end of the show, we'll reveal that. Would that be cool?
For you, Brian? Absolutely.
I mean, we've been buddies for at least 45 minutes. I mean, we go way back. So, of course.
Well, it's actually more than that because I got at least 40 emails from you. So let's be real, Brian. This has been going on for weeks. We just haven't physically spoke.
It's like you almost feel like you knew me before we started, right? All the videos.
Oh, I learned more about my technology setup than I ever have before just from your email. So thank you for that. It actually is helpful.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Yes. I love it. So, and I wanted to talk about there's a really cool thing about you. And we talked about it in the beginning with, it was in your bio a little bit, that it says recovering addict. And if everyone is like me, the first place one goes is, well, what kind of drugs was he addicted to, or was it alcohol? And it was neither, I found out, surprisingly. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Would you mind bringing that up and saying what happened and what was your life story behind that?
Sure. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was walking into my grandma Agnes's house. The turkey was baking in the oven. I could smell the stuffing. I could look down the table and see those yams with those melted mashed potatoes over it. But I saw it from across the room because I was parked in front of the television with my uncle while everybody else was eating. And we weren't eating because we were too busy screaming as the team that we gambled and bet on crossed the goal line and scored the winning touchdown. And I won my first bet ever at the age of 11.
Oof.
Which started a 20-year gambling addiction for me. And gambling was around me everywhere as a child. I'm the son of an entrepreneur. My father had an import-export business around fine china and Lalique, Baccarat, Waterford. If you've heard of these things before, Hummels, all this stuff. Swarovski, most people know Swarovski, those crystals. And so I worked in his warehouse with all the guys in the back, and they all gambled. So we talked sports and gambling. I mean, I'm 12, 13, 14 years old. So I'm taking whatever money I make from working for my dad and giving it to those guys so I could gamble. And they would actually take me. I would tell my dad they're going to drive me home from work. But in reality, they took me 40 minutes down Route 17 in New Jersey to the Meadowlands racetrack. And I'm like, again, 13, 14, 15. And I'm in the racetrack with these guys. And I'm giving them money to bet on horses for me. And that is how it all continued to perpetuate. Little League Baseball, my coach, he was a bookie. Of course.
Wow.
Because that's how we do it in Jersey. That's how we do it. And so when I got to college, I was already gambling every single day. And I knew I would be an entrepreneur because I wanted to be like my father. But I just never knew my first foray into entrepreneurship would be as a bookie in college.
Wow.
And that's what it ended up being. And I will just say one other thing. It wasn't that I wasn't addicted to drugs. I was. It just wasn't my first addiction. The first addiction was gambling. When I went to college, I started experimenting with drugs, and I became a drug dealer as well because I saw every opportunity as one to make money. So I was addicted to several different drugs throughout the years. Cocaine being a very bad one. When I graduated college and went to New York City and started working there, it was all over the place. And I was servicing the financial services industry a lot. And, if you know anything about New York and working in finance, there's coke everywhere and at the clubs, it's all over the place. And I was in my 20s. So that was something that I really got me. So I had like an 8-year addiction to cocaine, which I haven't done in over 7 years now.
And congratulations and kudos. And, anybody who's ever had any kind of, even a vice, it can be difficult to pull away from that and to keep away from it. So, and you've turned it around and now you're helping people, look at this wonderful thing that, you realized you were going down a path that you didn't want to be down, and you changed your direction of travel, so to speak, and you figured it out. And I'm sure it was difficult. It's that's why they're addictions. They're hard to get rid of. But kudos, man. And I'm so happy that you're out of that mess and you're making an impact for people. And look, we got all these people that are just excited to see you, watching from Hollywood, enjoying your book. Wanda Reynolds, she's loving your book. Wanda. We have someone from Twitch saying hello. Not sure if you know who Hasby123 is, but we've got.
I don't know Hasby, but I'd like to. Hey, Hasby.
And Twins Love MD.
Oh, I love Shannon. Shannon's the best.
There we
Thank
go.
you so much.
And then my buddy Jack Freeman, he's an amazing businessman himself. We're doing some great things together. Thanks for coming on, Jack. And then this is Fumilola is her name. She's from Nigeria, moved to Canada. She was an apprentice with my company, and now she's crushing it on YouTube. And I'm so excited and happy for her. She's actually a lawyer by trade, and she's moved into the space. Oh, look at this. We got they're just coming in like crazy. We'll just spend the show reading comments. This is awesome. Tyler Ray says, Michael was my boss. Oh, you must know him. And he was a great mentor to me. Gave me and other employees lots of opportunities to succeed and make an impact. I'm proud of the impact you've had on me and those you're working with currently. This is awesome. Thank you, Tyler,
Tyler, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Tyler was one of my favorites for sure. Love that guy.
Yeah, and it's great to have folks to come to your side, to be there to say, I'm so glad that you are where you are now because of the impact you've had on me, is what they're saying. And I love that. So thank you all for contributing and commenting. Keep them coming. That's what we love, is interaction. Ask questions. Do you have a question for Michael? Bring it on. He's been around the block, and he's not shy. You can tell. But he's also...
I'm definitely not shy, but you don't have to promote that I've been around the block. I mean, come on.
But it's definitely a heart center.
I guess you can see you can see these grays, huh? Yeah, they're in there.
Hey,
I tried to trim the beard as short as I could because then you can't see as much gray.
Yeah, you know what? Even if they're gray, every hair in my book is a good hair. As long as I can hang on to them.
Yeah. Actually, look at this forehead. You're 100% right.
Yeah, this is thinner than it looks. So yeah. I'm holding on to everyone dear. It's like, don't fall. No. Oh, all right. Back to the good stuff. So in the opening, talked about the necessity to have many, many business skill sets, to be successful in business. And, having been around the block as you have now in the business world. And, even from the days when things were darker, but you were still in business, right? And you were learning the tools of the trade because they're kind of universal, sales and marketing and everything. But coming up to today, and of all the skill sets that are necessary to build, maintain, and grow a business, if you were to pick just 3, and pick 3 that today are pertinent to you personally, what are those top 3 skills that are needed to achieve the level of success you have and to keep going farther and beyond?
You have to have stick-to-itiveness. And what I mean by that, if people haven't heard that word, you really have to have the ability to stick to your goals, right? And whatever happens, you overcome that challenge that's in front of you, and you don't let anything stop you. You got to be resilient because you will get knocked on your ass. Sorry if you need to bleep that. You will get knocked down in life. It happens to everybody. Sorry, people, you're not special, okay? We all have crap happen to us. It doesn't mean the world stops. It means we overcome. We make mistakes, we learn from them, and then we incorporate them in our life as we move forward. And the third thing, I think you have to, if you're running a business, have the ability to lead with compassion and empathy. And that's not that's not the typical answer that you hear from a lot of entrepreneur CEOs. But I learned over the years from not leading with compassion that's the wrong way to lead. From leading from a place of ego and like a place of correction versus a place of collaboration, you will not get very far. And I mean, you might be amazing at your job, but if you want employees to buy in, to support you, to have your back, then and you're leading from that manner, then it won't last. Trust me. I was a jerk for years running my business. It was obviously before Tyler worked for me because I learned, right? Because Tyler, I learned a lot, right? But I was not a great CEO for several years. I was a jerk because I couldn't get out of my own way. and I allowed my ego to just drive every single decision I made.
Yeah, and Ken Wentworth, he's been on the show before, and I think he's in agreement. Crap happens. It does to all of us, and it's just about, how do you overcome it? And that's where the mindset comes in. The flexibility, the ability to change one's attitude, which you've obviously mastered that, or you wouldn't have someone like Tyler coming on saying, singing your praises like that. That's phenomenal. And he is coming from Columbus, Ohio. Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I love Columbus, Ohio. I go there every year. I've been going to I go there every year. I got friends there. I go to this, I don't know if you know Lewis House. He's got a big event there every year that guy I go to. It's a great event, actually. Met some great people there. But fantastic. Columbus is a great city. Yeah.
Yeah. Look up Ken when you go.
I will for sure. What we were saying though is, and I wanted to actually mention a great book. It's by Ryan Holiday, and it's called The Obstacle is the Way. And that's everything we're talking about. There's no way around the challenge. There's no way over it or under it. You have to attack it straight on and go through it. And The Obstacle is the Way is a perfect example and a perfect book that talks about that and how to endure that through life.
I was just checking to see if I had that. That sounds familiar. Yeah, I have read that. I love it. Yes, yeah. I think that's probably on the website, which fantastic. The Obstacle is the Way.
I have no affiliation with that, by the way.
OH. That must be an Ohio thing. Wanda Reynolds. I'm not sure what that is.
I think it is. OH. It's Ohio thing. They cheer that at the hey Shelly. They cheer that at the football games, I guess there. Or is it IO? I don't know. IO.
Ken just finished the sentence.
I'm saying MD because not only are those my initials, but I went to the University of Maryland.
There you go. That works. There we go. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. So one of the things that is basically the lifeblood of anyone's business is having clients, right? It depends on your type, but it really doesn't matter. A client could be someone who's buying a product or service that you offer online. It could be someone that you're helping one-on-one coaching. It could be a seminar where people are coming into your room with a sea of 200 to 500 people or more. A client could be anything that is someone that is transacting business with you. And it's very, very important. That's the lifeblood, marketing to get those clients. And what would you say is the best way, and what has worked for you? This is what I love, because we get to talk to people who have done it and share their experience. And it's not always the same as everyone else. It's usually different. And what has been your best go-to method for building a successful customer or client base?
So I'm a ground and pound old school guy, right? I truly believe you got to have a process in place, right? You have to have research done, and you have to put a game plan and execute on it. Be consistent. It's very important, consistency. So obviously the most important thing is when you're focused on getting new clients. Let's say you can do an inbound strategy and everything and have SEO and do all that stuff. But I'm going to speak right now from an outbound sales perspective where you are going and hunting, right? Because that is something that is an acquired skill. You either, I shouldn't say acquired. You either have it or you don't have it, right? Early in my career, I went door to door in sales. If you can go door to door selling, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Because you're usually interrupting families in the middle of their dinner. Because that's when they're home and you're knocking on their door. And for me, I was trying to sell windows, roofing, siding, decks in college. Like, they don't want to hear from me. But I was successful at it because I was consistent with it and because I could relate to people. You have to be able to relate to the customer. Right. So when you can relate to the client and understand what their challenge and problem is. You have to be solving a problem if you want to sell something. So identifying what the problem is most important. What I feel most salespeople do incorrectly is just sell, sell, sell. And what they need to do more of, and what I needed to do more of early in my career, was to listen and ask the right questions. I always used to tell my team, and I tell everybody now, every answer elicits another question. Yes. It's like an onion. You have to really peel and peel and peel to really understand what the client's pain point is, because most of them will tell you something, but it's really a lot deeper than what they're telling you.
Yeah.
And it's a skill to be able to come up with questions on the fly after you get an answer. But that is how you really uncover the information you need to be successful at your job.
I love this. So many golden nuggets. I hope everyone's taking notes. I've got writer's cramp already myself. I'm actually product of the product.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I love it.
And I love everything you're saying, like ground and pound. That's a perfect technical term for persistence, resilience, never give up. Just continue to move forward at any and all costs. I mean, within reason, of course.
Smile and dial.
There you go.
That's another one. That's when I was doing outbound sales on the phone. My boss used to tell me, it was one of my first jobs out of college. He's like, just smile and dial all day long. I like that. Smile and dial. Okay. I just got hung up 15 times. This guy's telling me to smile and dial. You know?
Yeah. That rejection thing can knock you back, but you have to just ground and pound and grow the thick skin and keep going and know that the yes is coming. It's coming. And when you said something about consistency. Good.
Sorry, I was just going to say every no is that much closer to a yes.
Exactly. So just keep going. It will happen. And you talked about consistency, and you also referred to Lewis Howes earlier in Ohio. An interesting thing is, as soon as you said the word consistency, that's who comes up in my mind every time I hear it, all the time, because he was interviewed, and this was on video, and I saw this after the fact, and a gentleman asked him and said, so if you were to give advice to somebody who was about to embark on or start a podcast, what advice would you give them? And he thought for a second. He got a little bit serious in his face, Lewis did, and said, well, what I would tell them is if they are not committed to do it consistently for an entire 2 years, don't even start. And do it for 2 years no matter what. If you're not getting listens, if you're not getting downloads, it doesn't matter. If you're not committed for 2 years to do this on a consistent, I thought, thank you, Lewis Howes, because I'll be honest, that's about how long it took with this very show to gain traction. And it's like an amazing sweet spot. He's so spot on. Is like you said, just keep smiling and dialing, keep going, as if you're going to get, that the no's are going to come. That there's going to be very few people watching or listening to your shows. That's okay. Just keep going as long as you're consistent and persistent. So thank you for reinforcing that, Michael, because I think that one's really important for people to understand, because it takes time, it takes diligence, it takes effort. And then you talked about solving a problem, how that's important. And you said the word right as I was writing it, listen. I wrote down listen. Listen to the marketplace. So many entrepreneurs have this shiny object syndrome where, this would be really cool. I know everyone's going to love this new idea. It's like, you don't know that until you do the market research and find out if they do. So don't waste all of your time and effort until you've done that and find out if this is truly what the marketplace wants. Find out what they want. And like Michael's saying, I love it in the actual sales process. Ask question after question after question. You're digging deeper to the real emotional reason that they need the service you're about to provide them, because people buy on emotion. Just as you were saying earlier, where in that case, the emotions weren't positive. This time you want it to be positive if your service is something that is on the positive nature. But yeah, you got me going on this one, Michael, because the value is just oozing. I'm getting some fun stuff. This is Mr. Wentworth again. Brian needs to listen. Put down a container of Tito's vodka. And we love having fun. And I know Ken, he's an awesome guy. Lewis House, yes, is the man. Yeah, and yeah, I can't wait. I hope you guys do get to connect in Ohio. Yeah, you'll have to overcome tons of obstacles. No doubt there. Thank you, Mr. Biz. Ken Wentworth is his name. And that's what happens. You come on here, you make comments, and they're constructive or even funny. We'll give you shout outs, and that gives you even more exposure. I love helping people, helping to promote people. And Michael is one of them. And to that end, I would like to dig a little deeper, Michael. Who is your ideal client at the moment to, if they were to come to you and say, I need your services, Michael, who is that person you're looking for? And then, let's just do it. How would they go about connecting with you to start that conversation?
Sure. So I would say two profiles. Okay. The first would be an entrepreneur doing anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million a year in revenue, who's looking to double their revenues, who's looking to build their sales team, who's looking to, do a top-down approach and make sure that they are maximizing their employees' skills and that their employees are staying in their lanes. Because what ends up happening a lot, I see with a lot of companies, especially startups, everybody thinks they're an expert with everybody else's job, and they're not laser focused on theirs. The more laser focused they are on theirs, and this goes for the CEO also, because the CEO ends up bouncing all over the place, trying to help marketing, trying to help sales, and trying to help, this, and wants to be the HR person and operations, and you can't do it all. And you want to be the nice person to everybody and solve every problem, then you're not going to advance very far. So the first person would be anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million a year in revenue. I do very well with helping them, increase their sales and expedite their employees accordingly. The second would be the entrepreneur who's like I was for so many years, who's dealing with isolation, addiction. They feel like they're in it all by themselves. They have nobody to relate to. And they are, going to the Tito's distillery that your friend mentioned earlier to, get away from work for a few hours, but it's affecting their life. It's affecting their personal life. It's affecting their business life. It's affecting how they show up and treat themselves, right? And that person who's in isolation, who's got compulsive behavior challenges, maybe, like those are the people that I resonate with so strongly, because that was me for so many years.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and the way to get a hold of you, that would be your main website, I'm guessing, is the Michael G. Dash.
Or they could just shoot me an email at michael@michaelg-.com. So just my first name at michaelg-.com. I'm glad to provide anybody with a free hour consultation who puts mind, body, business in the subject line.
Wow. An early gift. I love it. So I'm writing.
Are you texting me right now for a free hour? Are you writing an email in there?
Am I? Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm an action taker, baby. I jump on things when they're offered. I'm on it.
That's great.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And normally, when I have guests on, we don't talk much about in detail what they do until near the end. But it felt so pertinent to do it now in the middle while we have a good number of viewers on, because I think it's important people know who you are and how to get in touch with you, because I know so many. I'm well connected with many entrepreneurs, and I do know, as you're talking, I'm thinking of actual individuals who possibly could use some assistance. When you said, especially they're in isolation, solopreneur, and there's just like, how do I do this? Especially today, man, with this pandemic that hit, and there's a lot of people in dire straits financially. I'm sure there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now that I'm sure you could help them, get through those moments.
Yeah, because, now's the time to pivot. Like, you have to have that ability, right, to be able to see where the market's going and make a pivot with it. That's what entrepreneurship's all about.
And that's exactly the word I use is flexibility, pivot. The same thing as, just you can't get comfortable. And that's the thing. It's the exact opposite. You need to get comfortable with becoming uncomfortable over and over and over again. Get out of your comfort zone.
So true. So true.
So this has been amazing. Oh my God, Mike. So I know there's always this measuring stick I have personally about a show and how it's going. And I just looked at the time and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. 15 minutes away. And I feel like we just started 10 minutes ago. That is a good sign, by the way, just in case you're wondering. This has been phenomenal. You've been dropping, as Mr. Wentworth said, you've been dropping some incredible value bombs, and so deeply appreciate it. And I love that I get to help promote you and your name and your brand and what you do for people, because you serve people. And, you have that other, let's bring that up a little bit. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about your other venture that you're working with, activated.life. What is that? And what is that all about? And who are you helping with that?
So activated.life started as a joke, actually. I'm with a buddy of mine, Parveen Panwar. He's the actual founder, and I helped co-found it with him. And we are in some entrepreneurship communities, and we just saw a lot of people going through a lot of challenges within those communities. And they're going through the things I mentioned, the isolation, like working and not taking care of their mental wellness. So we've shifted activated.life from where it started to now focus on mental health awareness. So that's where it is right now. We have a retreat every year, and we had one scheduled for August in Costa Rica, but it's postponed till April now. But we're just talking yesterday about putting a mission-driven program together on top of what we already have to focus on how we can impact the mental health of so many people, of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, but of the person who just got laid off from their corporate job and doesn't know where to go and is stuck inside their house. And we don't want, the worst thing they could do is self-medicate. I mean, that's what I did. I self-medicated so I didn't have to face the reality of what I was staring at. And a lot of people are doing that right now. Mental health and addiction numbers are through the roof right now. And it's to be expected because of the situation that we're in. So we are providing resources so that we can help others. So if you go to activated.life, there is on there free meditations that Parveen has put together. There's breath work that you can do. These are things that I incorporated into my life over the last 3 years and that have helped my mentality 100%. They've helped calm me down in heightened emotional states when I wanted to react to something. Breath work especially, like taking deep breaths is so easy, but we take breathing for granted because we don't have to put any effort into it. But it can really have a very deep impact on your mental state, which people don't realize. So just things like that. And then, so we're expanding it and we're going to have some programs that we'll be rolling out, within the next couple of months. But right now, this is what we're doing. So if you're interested, go onto the site, get a free meditation, incorporate some meditation into your life, because it can do amazing things for you and allow you to kind of reset from all the things going on in our minds and how distracted we can get every single day. We can get so distracted because there's so much going on. I mean, how many communication platforms are there on your on your phone? Like, it's overwhelming.
It is.
So just that example can talk about how overwhelming it is when you're trying to I literally have 6 different applications that people communicate with me on, and it drives me crazy. It really does.
I'm with you, brother.
You have to have these practices in your life so that, your mindset is laser focused. And I'll also mention just onto that, listen, you have to have positive things going into your mind every day. So I listened to this affirmation podcast, right? It's an affirmation podcast. I was never into affirmations. I actually would look at it and be like, that's stupid. Like, I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and say how great I am. I mean, how ridiculous is that? That was the old Michael, the old attitude. Until I started doing it. And I was like, oh, man, I feel good. I don't care if that was stupid. I don't care if I look like an idiot. Nobody can see me. Why am I judging myself? Like, this is actually helpful. And then I incorporated in, and like right before the show, as I was getting dressed, as I was getting half, putting the button down shirt with the shorts I have on, and standing in the mirror and being like, you're going to crush it. The show's going to be awesome and you're going to crush it. And then I come out and I'm like, oh, I feel good.
And guess what?
It's a little thing, but it can go a long way. So in a long-winded answer, we're focused on Activated on Life now, on mental health awareness, and we're going to be building out and rolling some plans over the next month or so.
Love it. We got a question come in from a gentleman, Jason Anderson. Activated. It's Life, Life. Really great idea. Your co-founder, he was asking, what is his history? Thank you, Jason, coming in from LinkedIn.
So he grew up in India. His name's Parveen Panwar. He also was a person who didn't really pay much attention to his own mental health, his own physical health as well. He's gone through trials and tribulations where he's, been burnt by partners, burnt by employees, gone through, the journey that we do as entrepreneurs, the highs and the lows, and developed and really started self-studying breath work and meditation. And it's all started in India, hundreds of thousands of years or hundreds of years ago. And so he has a deep history with it. But he was actually beaten as a child. So he's overcome that. So he's had a lot of challenges in his life that he's overcome that's made him the person that he is today.
Fantastic. And thank you for that, Jason. I just brought up a picture of Parveen up on the screen there. You guys are working me. I love it. Work it. So let's bring it back all the way back, as I like to say. And thank you, everyone, for all your incredible comments, suggestions, questions. I mean, we've got also self-medication does not work. Are you a professionally trained person? If you are in that mode, please find a professional. Yeah, get help. And they can help more than you can even imagine. Absolutely. Don't just go it alone. Yes.
Oh, 100%. Gamblers Anonymous saved my life. I went, they have Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. They have Gamblers Anonymous. And it saved my life when I walked into that room and decided that I would listen to what these people had to say, because I had more in common with those people than I did my closest friends at the time. And next month on June 15th, I'll celebrate 15 years since my last bet.
Nice. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh, great question. How do you get over the inevitable unmotivated days?
Coffee.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Yes, raw and unscripted. He did not know that was coming. That was good.
No, frankly, though, to Mr. Biz, I love Mr. Biz. I want that name, Mr. Biz. Yes. I would say for me, like, I have to listen to something positive in the morning to get me motivated. And I actually do it before I even get out of bed. And whether it's a positive podcast or just like a 3-minute motivational video or something that like early in the morning will like get my blood flowing a little bit, or an affirmation podcast. And then that's really what I need with the coffee.
Love it. Oh man, look at all these people. They're like, congrats. Keep going. Keep trudging. Congrats from LinkedIn, Bill Wilson. Thank you. Coffee is for closers. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I love that.
Hey everyone, it is that happy time. We're coming on the end of the show. We're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. But and stick around, because there's one more question that I'm going to be asking Michael G. Dash about, and it's a heavy one, and it's also deeply personal. And I love the responses I've gotten. And you're not alone, Michael. I've asked every guest before you the same exact question. And I found that the answers were so intriguing that I just asked the same one of each individual at the end of the show. And I can't wait to get your take on it because it's personal, like I said earlier. But before we do that, I promised everyone who stayed with us live until the end, this is where Michael will pull out his cell phone because he won't be on camera. And what you can do to enter is it is on the screen right now for those of you that are watching us live, and this is only for those of you watching live, is text. Get out your text app, start that up. You now have our permission to take your gaze away from the screen if you're watching on a computer, or to move over to your message app for just a moment. Hopefully you can still hear while you do that. And where you would put in the person's name to text them, put in this phone number instead. Put in 661-535-1624. I can see Michael's thumbs moving. 661-535-1624. And down where you would actually type in the message, maybe where you'd put the emojis, those kind of things. Instead, just type the word peak. That's P-E-A-K. Part of Reach Your Peak, which is part of my company's name. So type the word peak, P-E-A-K, to the number 661-535-1624. We will pick a winner at random. Again, this is sponsored by the biginsidersecrets.com. For those of you that joined a little later, what are you entering for? You're entering for a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And again, all compliments of our friends at the biginsidersecrets.com. So be sure to do that and then come right back because it is time to ask Mr. Dash the $64,000 question. And
can I ask you, I just have a quick question. I'm curious. Has any of your guests ever won this trip?
Actually, yes.
All right. I have a chance. Nice.
Yes.
All right,
yeah, like I said, it's random. It's a random selection. And yes, absolutely. Everyone is invited.
That's great.
Everyone, especially you. You put in the time. You put in the value. I would love if you won, to be honest. If I'm going to be honest, that I would love if you are the one that gets selected.
If I win, I'll take some selfies and send them to you when I'm away.
That'd be awesome. take some video. Hey, I got this on the Mind Body Business Show. This is awesome. All right. So, all right, back to the regularly scheduled program. So are you ready, Michael? Here's the thing with this question, just in case you're wondering. The cool thing about this question is there is no such thing as a wrong answer, Michael. There is not. It doesn't exist. In fact, just the opposite is the truth. It is the only correct answer is yours because of its personal nature. With that being said, are you ready for the big questione?
Bring it on.
All right, here we go. Michael G. Dash. How do you define success?
Dun, dun, dun. Success to me, as I had previously mentioned before, is being able to positively impact or influence somebody's decisions or thought process based on something that they may not have thought of before or they may not have encountered before. So creating impact and change is what I'm all about. Everything that I do is for that reason. And obviously you need to make a living doing it and everything, but it's about creating that change so that another person is motivated maybe by what I said or builds confidence within themselves that they can also change something they might not be happy about themselves. So that's my answer. And I'm sticking to it.
I love it. I love it. And real quick, before we jump away, I wanted to give everyone a quick shot of your site at Michael G. Dash. So go to michaelgdash.com, and there you can see a contact link at the very top if you want to get in touch with him. He also mentioned if you emailed him, and that is michael@michaelgdash.com, and mention Mind Body Business, he would give you a complimentary, what was it, a 1-hour session?
Consulting session. Yeah. But there's, I mentioned the alignment assessment before, which is free.
Yes.
And if people want to download that, they can just go to the same email, www.michaelg-.com/alignment. And it's a very powerful tool that I would highly recommend you taking advantage of.
We have the technology, so let's go ahead and do it. So there you see, that's what you'll see if you type it in correctly. For those of you watching and listening, if you wouldn't mind throwing that in the comments real quick, I can't really reach my keyboard too well. michaelg-.com/alignment. And that is phenomenal. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for all of your gifts tonight, Michael, not just these that are on the website, but your value, your insight, your genius, your beautiful brain, the things you've overcome, and the fact that you're here to share with others to help them to achieve greatness just like you have. That speaks volumes about you, and I appreciate you, my brother. I really do.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And if you don't mind, if you could introduce me in every room I walk into the way you did today, I mean, that would be amazing.
I'll carry your bio with me in my wallet, and I'll just have it automatically spring open. You got it, man. Hey, I totally appreciate you and everyone watching. Thank you so much for all the comments that are still coming in. Here we go. Thank you so much for doing that, Burke. I appreciate it.
Oh, my man, Burke. Yes. What's up, my man?
Yes.
That's an awesome guy right there.
Bill Wilson, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Ken Wentworth, Wanda, I can't go through everybody. Jason, everyone for coming on and engaging with us. It's been a really fun show. And you know, man, you did not, I'm trying to think of the right word.
Disappoint.
Thank you. Gosh, you did not disappoint. You did just the opposite. So appreciate you. That's it for tonight and this edition of the Mind, Body, Business Show. On behalf of this wonderful human being, Michael G. I am your host, Brian Kelly, and we can't wait to see you on the next edition coming up next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I've always wanted to say that. Right here on the Mind, Body, Business Show. Until that time, be blessed and take care. So long, everybody.
Do good.
There you go.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind, Body, Business Show with Brian Kelly.